be very clear with you. When you're presented with information at a time, you have to rely on that information that you're given. And the bottom line is some of the information came back incorrect, and that's why the Department of Justice has stepped in at my request. So you should be happy that I requested the Department of Justice to step in.
We're going to start this live, and we're going to get it shaken. Yesterday, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, Richard Thomas, was on live, and he was talking about the school board and voting and all this other stuff and what needs to happen, blah, 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 and all this extra bullshit, right? Somebody sends me the live. I tap in the live. I hear a bunch of bullshit. So I start asking questions of my own, pertaining to this man jumping up on a press conference with dirty cops behind him in front of news cameras, glorifying these police, talking about how Mount Vernon had a serious problem, this, that, and the third. Granted. Not once did he talk about the allegations about the tapes that were circulating that he knew about way before the sweep happened. He gets in, he compares 32 people to domestic terrorists. Me, on the other hand, just so happens, I've never been in Mount Vernon doing no business, selling no drugs, doing no illegal activity, committing no crimes and nothing in the city of Mount Vernon. This man had me on a wanted poster. He had the audacity to say that what we were being accused of was actual true. So this man was on live yesterday. I get to ask him my questions. He says to me, I claimed that I did nothing wrong, so God bless me. First of all, you could take that blessing and shove it up your ass, Mr. Thomas. You dirty too. This is a man who stole money from his own campaign, $96,000, to go on personal vacations with his family and got indicted for the shit. So once that happened, he started telling all types of shit that he knew about pertaining to Mount Vernon. But he'll never burn himself or nothing. He stood up in front of a press conference. On his live, he said, he's the reason that the Department of Justice is in Mount Vernon as we speak, investigating the police, and I contradict that story. Here I'm going to take you to an article by the Gothamist. There's an officer that was, complaining about other officers in Mount Vernon being dirty. That's dated from June 3rd, 2020, right? They was talking about tapes a while back. That's the officer, right? He blew the whistle. 12-year veteran in the department who has been blowing the whistle on misconduct for years. He's been blowing the whistle on misconduct by Mount Vernon City Police for years. He reported his colleagues, alleged corruption, brutality, and confidential complaints to the city and lawsuit against the city, which was dismissed on procedural grounds but saw little change. He began quietly recording his colleagues. I need to have something tangible, he said. There's scandals going on. As we continue to scroll, right, I'm going to scroll down to the dirty cops. Here's the dirty cops. That's the press conference that Mayor Thomas, who's right there, Richard Thomas, who's right there, nigga, he gave a press conference comparing me to a domestic terrorist, right? This man done told everything he needed to tell, right? 2019. He first joined the force in 2010. He tested positive for weed. He said others in the narcotics units had gotten away with far more worse. He had an aggressive reputation. Antonini. He worked he's in the cop that told on police. Worked with the undercover from the county to frame civilians after undercover buys for numerous occasions. This is Richard Thomas's claim that I am claiming that something happened to me, right? There I go, right there. That's me. Me. Take a look. Me. Take a look. That's me. Now, let's get into the story. In 2018, Richard Thomas, the mayor of Mount Vernon at the time, stood at a podium in City Hall to announce the arrest of 22 suspected drug dealers across the city. His words, "These people behind us are heroes." These is Richard Thomas's words. "These people behind me are heroes," pointing to a row of police officers standing at a staircase. One of them, Detective Antonini, had played a major role in the operation, scoring numerous arrests and signing off on several felony complaints. He stood tall and gazed at the camera. A gold badge rested on his chest. That's coming off. They went and made sure they found these people, did their research. They had a year-long operation and cracked down on at least 22. The mayor continued, and there's a few more they're zeroing in. Me, a New Rochelle resident, was one of the suspects who remained at large. In a criminal complaint, Detective Antonini swore that I sold drugs to an undercover at the address of a gas station in Mount Vernon the previous year. From the outside looking in, the case ain't look good. I had a history for dealing. I told y'all niggas that already. I was innocent from jump. I stood on my shit. I was working. I had everything going on, right? There's proof. There's proof that I was not here. There's proof that I was not here. Listen to the audio now. I got an audio for you. Listen in and how rich I'm going to be, because they fucked up. Listen to what we talking about.
You're listening to WNYC. I'm Jamie Floyd. Early last year, a whistleblower police officer gave the Westchester County District Attorney's Office a series of secretly recorded tapes that contained alarming accusations of corruption and misconduct in the troubled Mount Vernon Police Department. But nothing seemed to change, so he gave the tapes to WNYC investigative reporter George Joseph. Joseph reported on some of the contents yesterday, and today he takes a closer look at the Westchester County DA's handling of the affair, how he met his obligation under the law, and to the public.
On Valentine's Day last year, Mount Vernon police officer Murashaya Bavel mailed county prosecutors a special gift, a series of secretly recorded phone calls of him discussing corruption with his colleagues.
I gave them that information. I thought that this is it. Something big positive would happen.
The tapes included explosive allegations of police brutality, people being framed, and cops doing favors for drug dealers. At first, prosecutors seemed interested. In March, an investigator texted Bavel, saying he had been listening to the recordings.
I figured that, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
Bavel's attorney, Joseph Murray, felt the same way.
I was quite confident they were working on this, understanding they're not going to update me on what they're doing because they want to maintain the integrity of their investigation.
But 9 months later, the two men went to the DA's office for a meeting, and Murray says, found out that the probe was not moving forward.
Why should my client have to constantly push every button to get this done? I really just felt that we should have been able to hand this off to the professionals who work in this integrity bureau and will, run with this. But they didn't.
Westchester County DA Anthony Scarpino's office wouldn't comment on the meeting, but insisted the investigation is still open. They declined to give specifics. Here's Paul Noto, Westchester's first deputy DA.
Yeah, we have definitely looked into it. Yeah. It is not concluded.
Charles Linehan is a former deputy chief in the public corruption unit of the Manhattan DA's office. He says that in addition to an investigation, The DA's office should notify trial prosecutors about cases involving the accused officers.
We would likely advise them to delay until we could get a handle on what was going on.
Put below Antonini. At one point in 2018, he attended a press conference with the mayor of Mount Vernon to announce a narcotics operation targeting local drug dealers. Henderson Clark was one of the people they named.
Hello. How you doing, man? Good.
Clark was eventually arrested in July of 2019, accused of selling drugs 2 years before. But on the day of the alleged crime, Clark says he was visiting his brother in North Carolina.
Now, I didn't even think that these people was concocting this story up here in New York that I committed this crime because I'm down here.
He's telling me this at his mother's apartment in New Rochelle, where he grew up. He pulls out his phone and scrolls to a picture he says he took of his brother that day.
So that's where you see the picture that I gave him a t-shirt of a deceased friend of ours. It was around 10:30.
There is other evidence the photo is genuine. But in a felony complaint, Detective Antonini swore that less than 3 hours later, Clark was over 400 miles away selling drugs to an undercover officer in Mount Vernon. Normally, this would be a slam dunk case. Clark has a past record for dealing, and undercover buys are controlled operations. But the case slowly unraveled, and the DA withdrew the charge.
If you have this proof and you have an undercover that can put me in this place, why you dismiss my case?
Police records show that Antonini and other officers accused of misconduct have collectively touched many drug cases over the years. Clark says he's concerned about those defendants too.
There might be over 100 other cases that this man then had his hand in that he tarnished, that he contaminated. You know, people who are innocent people getting railroaded.
The DA says they'll review those cases if the investigation pans out. But it's been over a year since they got the Mount Vernon police tapes.
There's a majority white people up in there. Somebody tag Richard Thomas. I'll wait. I'm live. Somebody tag Richard Thomas. Let's talk. Since you want to say that I was claiming to be accused of all of that, right? I have the paperwork of y'all dismissing my case after y'all offered me 2 different plea deals trying to pressure me to take a charge that I did not commit. What do you got to say to that, bozo? I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait for you to respond with the lame-ass response you gonna go on live. Somebody tag him. I tagged him. I don't think he want to talk to me because he tried to go under the radars with this shit. And I ain't the one for that. I ain't the one for that. I'm with it. And I need everything. Anthony Scarpino, this bozo. That bozo right there was the DA in the killing of my brother. May he rest in power. This is the reason why I go at Westchester County so tough. The same bozo DA I showed you exonerated the pig that murdered my brother. You could see all types of racists in his face. And for decades, guys like him, Janet DeFori, who's the other one? What's the other one? Janine Pirro. All of them were racial against black people. Some people don't want to talk about it. I'll talk about it. They never cared for black people. And these are people that were elected in office to be prosecutors and district attorneys and have people's lives hanging in their hands. The mayor, the former mayor of Mount Vernon gonna say some bozo shit like, he's going off of what the police gave him. There was investigations, thorough shit. You praise them as heroes. They was dirty. Ever since 2010, when Officer Burvell came on the force, he's been reporting misconduct of the Mount Vernon Police Department. What y'all do? Y'all shut him up. Y'all try to make him feel pressured and call him a rat. And this, that goes to show you that there's a secret brotherhood that goes on against the police, against the citizens. How are we paying taxes for people to protect and serve us, and they the ones causing the most harm? They worse than the gang members. They the biggest gang in the United States. Motherfuckers be scared to talk about it. I ain't scared to talk about it. I ain't scared to talk about it. Let's talk about it. I see all these gangsters in the street. Nobody wants to talk on the police. But they want to talk to the police. I get it. Niggas don't want to talk about and talk on the police and talk shit to the police. Niggas will talk shit to niggas that they grew up with. But niggas is talking to the police. Niggas ain't talking at the police. Niggas ain't beeping and talking shit to the police. Niggas is talking to the police. Big difference. Somebody get Mr. Thomas on the line. Or feel free to hit me any other time you want, bro. You ain't my bro, but it's sad that you was a dirty individual, and I ain't gonna talk about the other shit you probably was involved in when you became and started running for mayor and won the mayor seat. In that process, nigga, there was mad fires going on in Mount Vernon. How? You hitting spots, burning shit up. You tied to the streets. You tied to a few cats in the streets that get down and do their dirt. You try to use the old street scare tactics on niggas, on certain people. You tried to have people black all the businesses in Mount Vernon shut down who talked against you. You can't do nothing to me. I ain't from Mount Vernon. You can't shut my business down. It's not in Mount Vernon. I live by the First Amendment right. I could say what I want. And if it's factual, I damn sure have the right to say what I want against me. Should I continue? Hold tight. We gonna keep going. We gonna keep going. Show y'all some real shit. I'm gonna show y'all some real shit. Let's keep going. Let's expose Mr. Thomas like he wasn't part of the shit that was happening. Let's expose this character. He's right here. Ain't that Mr. Richard Thomas? What that says? Mount Vernon PD announces arrest in multi-drug sweep, right? Ain't that Mr. Thomas, right? That's not Mr. Thomas. Let's go.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you all for coming out today. I'm proud to be here to announce the arrest of 22 individuals as part of Operation Crackdown. These individuals were engaged in a series of illicit deals over a period of a year, and I want to sincerely thank all the agencies that were involved with their cooperation and support and their partnership on this journey to make Mount Vernon safer. Fighting crime is a team effort. Our streets belong to the people, not the criminals. We are...
Take it back to y'all, man. That's your boy right there. Right there.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you all for coming out today. I'm proud to be here to announce the arrest of 22 individuals as part of Operation Crackdown. These individuals were engaged in a series of illicit deals over a period of a year, and I want to sincerely thank all the agencies that were involved with their cooperation and support and their partnership on this journey to make Mount Vernon safer. Fighting crime is a team effort. Our streets belong to the people, not the criminals. We are working extremely hard to continue to make and keep Mount Vernon safe. And efforts like Operation Crackdown are why crime has dropped by 32% since 2011 and continues to drop.
How? When you put fake charges on people.
I want to thank the officers for all involved. And before we walked out, I shared with them that some of the things that these people were involved with may seem small, but they're large in the whole big picture. There are people overseas that mean us harm and that want to hurt this country and hurt this city. The deals and the stuff that they have disrupted and the people they arrested have a form of a connection to domestic terror.
He just compared all them people to domestic terrorists.
including myself. Isn't that defamation of character? Throw the hearts up in there if you feel what I'm feeling. Ain't that slandering my name? Ain't that defaming my character? Shit that can fuck my life up for a very long time. Look at the crookedness in his eyes. Look at the dirtiness in their eyes. You can tell when somebody's evil by looking at their eyes. They squint like these niggas is mad and mean at the world. Every last person in this picture.
And these are the things and these are the battles that we bring straight to their face. We want to make sure that these people behind us know that they're not only keeping the city safe, but they're keeping our country safe. And domestic terrorism has no place in our city, and this is something that we're going to continue to fight.
Once again, he used that word again. He emphasized the word domestic terrorists, domestic terrorism. What's the definition of a terrorist? What's the definition of terrorism? Ask Mr. Thomas that. You claiming that I'm claiming that I was making an accusation. Making a claim is just making a claim. That's like an accusation. That's hearsay. That's whatever. You trying to make people believe that what I'm saying is false and it's not accountable because you're running for something. You're campaigning for something, bozo. And I will dedicate myself to make sure that you don't win a seat in Mount Vernon or far less Westchester County anywhere, bozo.
Fight and root out like operations like Operation Crackdown. Now I'd like to introduce Commissioner Sean Harris, who will speak at VCO. Commissioner Harris.
Another dirty one.
So I'm not going to repeat everything the man said because he took most of my comments. But
these are corrupt officials. Care to comment, Mr. Thomas? Where you at, Mr. Thomas? You probably blocked me because you said you wasn't going to block me just yet. You wanted to answer the questions and try and look good for social media. But what you just did is put a foot in your mouth and you put your ass in harm's way. You did a lot of bozo shit. Now what's done in the dark is coming to the light, and you really tried to keep me quiet. I live by the constitutional rights, which means the freedom of speech, freedom of press, due process, civil rights. I have all those rights that y'all can't take or strip or make me not exercise. You a bozo. I proved on many different occasions you're a bozo. I have proof on my pages you're a bozo. Follow me at No Game Clothing. That's the second main page. They hacked my first page, but that's the main page. Follow me at No Game Clothing. Check out all the posts. Check out all the interviews. Whatever you see, I got new gear up. I'm out of here. I just had to prove something. Mr. Thomas, I'm waiting for you. DM me if you want to holler.